What's going on, boys? NealGuides here. Welcome back to another video. And in today's video, we're going to go over the Ramos review, the Sergio Ramos SPC that just came out very recently. We're going to go through his card. I'm going to give you my thoughts, opinions, because I think I used to do this series before, and I think everyone used to really like it. So I want to go through that as well. Tell you where you should play, what chemistry style you can use on him, and what I think of him overall before you make the plunge in doing him, because that, of course, is the big risk. 5-star skill moves, obviously with the FUT birthday card, I would love to have a 5-star, but you know what? A 5-star weak foot is what I would personally prefer. Just because I like to use some of these cards, especially like Ramos in a CDM. He's medium high, so to be honest, at medium, also high medium should I say, I would prefer a medium high for a centre back, or if he's going to be playing at CDM, that's what I would say. But judging on his base stats before we get into it, you can probably play in a centre mid role, or you could probably just play in centre back because he's got really good defensive awareness. That'll make up for it. He's got really good height, being 6 foot, so he has everything that you want. And if you go to the player traits, it doesn't really have anything on those, but you've got the power header trait, but that is pretty much it. The rest is basically irrelevant. So no finesse shot, anything like that. So you can't be expecting him to be doing those finesses in. But let's look at his card itself. So the pace is something that I would love to be a bit higher, but 82 pace and 83 pace, 84 acceleration, 80 sprint speed is still a very good balance. I do think he needs a shadow. I think whether you play him in centre mid or you play him in centre back, if you want him to be an attacking centre mid, he's gonna have a hunter on him. But I would say either a shadow or a hunter. Shooting stats, you know what? He's actually got a pretty good job now. Part of the penalties, I think, is what brings up the shooting stats a lot more. He hasn't really got the best of long shots. Just remember, people always forget this, but long shots is the most important thing outside the box. So generally speaking, if you're shooting outside the box, the most important thing is long shots. And then inside the box is the finishing stat. So remember that. He does have good shot power though. So that is the benefit. He does have some decent shot power. But the problem is just realistically, he hasn't really got the long shots. If this was about 85, maybe it wouldn't be too bad. But I just think his finishing and his long shots, I think you have to rule him out now as playing as an attacker. But he could probably get the job done as a centre. Maybe attack positioning is pretty good. Then we move over to his passing. His passing is pretty good. Don't forget passing. That's the amalgamation of all the passing stats. I would love his vision and his curve to be a bit higher, but nonetheless, he's still got very good short passing and long passing. So his passing is still going to be good, but it's not going to be by any means amazing. And this is where it gets, I think, interesting. So 96 composure. Now, contrary to belief, I don't actually look at composure too much, especially for a centre back. I only really focus on composure for an attacking player if that's a striker, because if you press a tackle button with gold Cristiano Ronaldo at centre back, who's got like 10 stand tackling, you're still going to get the ball regardless. It's the same thing if someone's got 99 composure or let's say 80 composure. That's like kind of the range of players, if that makes sense. So composure doesn't make that much of a difference compared to what people think and are led to believe. Although we don't know that, I could tell you from testing, it doesn't mean that much sense. You know, from finishing, because finishing is so difficult to see. You see with Gold Neymar, his high composure really does help him shoot inside the goal and finish the chance in 1v1 situations, whereas that's not really the case for going forward. You can argue maybe the composure will help him if he's, for example, on the ball and let's say this players are in his proximity and he wants to make a pass. But in all honesty, it makes not that much of a difference. So don't be expecting 96 composure. He's going to be always in position, or he's not going to get out of the way or anything like that, because people always have that misunderstanding. The 72 dribbling, don't worry about that too much again, because that gets negated, I would say, by the agility balance. Because the agility balance is pretty good. Now, I want to give you just a quick example of why this player might be more OP than you think. And it's why when I wanted to do this, I wanted to show you an example. Now, for those of you that know, I've always used religiously Wan-Bissaka in my team. Always. He's one of the best centre-backs in the game. Trust me, medium-high work rates. I've been using him all last year and this year. And you can see that very, very similarly, they've got similar height, medium-high, right? 6 foot, should I say, rather. 84 agility and 72 balance. You can see it's basically identical. He's got better reactions, which again, it does help, but it's not the end of the world. He's got better ball control. And of course, he lacks dribbling a little bit. But if Wan-Bissaka is cracked, then so Ramos be. Now, this of course will depend on certain things like animations. You know, Wan-Bissaka does have a unique body type, so he feels even better inside the game. That's something I want to mention to you. So I think, to be honest, for my meta tier list of centre backs, this would be high up here. I wish the pace was a bit more and a bit more higher. That's the complete truth and honesty. I'd rather have like 89, so I get close to 99 pace with a shadow. But because he's got good agility and balance, I think he might be one of the top contenders and centre backs in the game. The defending stats is very, very good as well. There's no need to comment on that. I think he's got very, very good defensive awareness, stand tackling, and interception. Those are the three main things I look for. Heading accuracy, if you want to cross the ball and the head of the ball's in, that's very important. Of course, he does have the power header trait as well. And of course, he does have the slide tackling as well. Physicality, he's got 97 jumping, 82 stamina, 88 strength, and 94 aggression. Now, to be completely candid with you, I think for the price, if we look at, for example, you know, the price of the card, this is why I think it just gets a bit unfortunate. 84, 85, an 88, and an 86. So it is quite pricey, to be honest. You do get a rare players pack in return. But yes, I would say the problem is with this card is it's just a bit pricey. If you're going for like a League 1 or League 1 team and you know that for sure, for definite, then I think you should be alright. But you're looking at about 500k maybe. Maybe 400k, maybe 500k. It's quite a lot. Considering like an 88 squad's around about 300k. It's talking maybe 400, 500k. So it's a lot of money for a centre-back of this caliber. Yes, he's a very good centre-back, but it's a lot of money. So I would say just do that. Do be aware of that. And I'll quickly show you some comparisons. I'll show you what chemistry styles I would use on him as well. So if you're going into Ramos here, we're going into Footbin. So what I will do personally is I will use a shadow on. Now don't forget, you can go watch a play review if you want to watch a play review, right? But in my opinion, play reviewing a centre-back is basically irrelevant because it just comes down to personal opinion. It's just a basic maths, to be honest. There's no AI positioning that's going to be amazingly good. I think realistically, a shadow is what I would say you have to go for. If he's playing anywhere as a CDM or a centre-back or left back or left centre-back or right centre-back, let's say in a 3-5-2, I would say he needs a shadow. If you play him in CDM, you can maybe get away with the engine, but personally at this stage of the game, I do believe he's a bit too slow. But if you really prefer the passing as a CDM, you could get the job done. Don't forget, you can also play him on 7 chemistry in a CDM position as well. But I would still lean towards a shadow, or I'd even lean towards a hunter if you want to be very attacking. With a hunter, to be honest, there's other cards you can get. You got the Paqueta card. And this is the thing. With this price, if we go, for example, here, we just search, for example, in Ligue 1. And this is what I say, before you do an SBC, unless you're a Ramos fan, don't delve in and don't go too deep into the cards, because you can get, for example, Marquinhos. Now, Marquinhos, in all fairness, you can even probably, can't really get it, if you can probably even just get the road bar, because this one, it dropped down greatly in price, to be fair. Do you know what? For 400k, it might be worth going with this one, medium high work rate as well. And you put a shadow on him. Par the curve, they're very much identical, but Ramos has the better agility. So I would say personally, if it was up to me, I wouldn't really spend the money, just because I know realistically, if you compare these guys together, and again, this is just my personal preference, although you can argue Ramos does have the 5-star skill moves. No, I can imagine when we do like elasticos with your back to the back, but I would rather have the medium high defensive work rate. And you know, the pace is very much identical, just a bit higher. Marquinhos, the shooting's a bit higher, and Ramos. But again, don't forget, it's the penalties that is really driving that overall finishing or shooting start up, should I say. Passing is very much similar. You got a bit better on Marquinhos in short passing and long passing, but then the vision is a bit better. I think apart from the curve, I think Marquinhos wins that battle there. The agility and balance, I think, really just edges it towards Ramos, in particular the agility. And the defending, they are very, very similar. So what I would say is, I would personally recommend going with Marquinhos. Yes, Ramos would be the better centre-back. That is no doubt about that. But I think just for the price and the fact that you're locked in as well, you can't sell him, don't forget. You're going to be in trouble. In terms of midfielder, we do have the new Paqueta card as well. And the Paqueta card, to be honest, I know people are going to say, oh, look, price-wise, he's almost double. But you got someone who's 5-star. Maybe he hasn't got the best of defending stats compared to Ramos. But I'd much prefer him in centre mid, or someone like Renato Sanchez, or even someone like Guendouzi, as opposed to Ramos. So that's what I would say. But again, it's a fantastic card. I really like this card. I think it's a really, really good card. But all I would say is, personally, I just don't think he's worth it. If he's about 400, 500k is where he settles in my opinion, it's not worth it unless you've already got a really, really good team and you're a big fan. But anyway, guys, that is, of course, the Ramos review. Thanks for watching. And, of course, I'll catch you next time. Peace out, guys.